I remember being a DME provider. As a DME provider, day in, day out, we were running a business. That's what we did, but we were servicing patients, and we needed to make sure that our patients received the best possible service while running our business as efficiently as possible.
Mike, why did you believe that the industry needed another option?
That's an easy one, Alex. I can tell you from my own experience, I was trying to find a system that we like to use, like a system that was good. It just didn't exist. When I ended up moving out of the traditional DME supplier business, I sat back and I said to myself, all right, the solution doesn't exist. We will build it.
Putting yourself in the consumer's seat, what do you think customers should expect from a software partner today?
I think a partnership's really important. That's the outlook that we've taken from day one. We work with our customers very closely. We continue to enhance the product. Our entire business is product driven. We continue to develop innovative features, innovative functionality. We're not sitting in the conference room drawing on a whiteboard saying, hey, this looks like a good idea. What we're doing is we're actively engaging with all of our customers.
If you could give any DME provider just one piece of advice about modernizing their business, what would it be?
Don't be afraid of change.
All right, we are live on the #1 DME podcast in the country, claim to fame. And today is a very special episode. It's episode 50. So today we are sitting down with the man, the myth, the legend, the CEO of NikoHealth and founder Michael Kutsak. Before Nico, Mike was on the provider side. He was an owner-operator of a DME. And, he experienced a lot of those same frustrations that so many providers still talk about today. Outdated software, clunky workflows, and systems that just didn't match the modern DME company way that they actually operate. So what we really wanted to do is talk about, Mike, who are you? Who's the guy behind the plan at NicoHealth? Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, Alex. Thanks for having me. I'm excited. After watching so many of the podcasts you guys do, it's incredible to participate. It's
You're welcome, Mike. Long time no see.
Wayne and Alex, you guys are doing a fantastic job. The participants you have, the guests you guys host, really the industry you guys are talking through, fantastic. And it's great to see that our audience is resonating to it. So appreciate it.
Absolutely. We're excited about this one, Mike.
So am I. So as Alex, you mentioned, way before NicoHealth, I was previously in the DME industry. As DME provider, day in, day out, right? We were running a business. That's what we did, but we were servicing patients, and we needed to make sure that our patients received the best possible service while running our business as efficiently as possible. There was a lot of challenges, tons of them, right? We were operating on multiple tech stacks, multiple systems, multiple broken processes, all things we hear today from our customers. And that is why I decided to start NicoHealth. Because I figured, hey, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better system. And when you think about, the teams that I had in the past, the teams that our customers have, the end users of these software applications, they want to use something modern. They want to use something clean, just like they do outside of work. And so that motivated me to start NicoHealth.
So, Mike, what did legacy software make harder than it needed to be? Obviously, like you were saying, there was disconnected technologies. Obviously you saw that there was an issue with how you're running your business with the software technologies that you had that made you want to start NicoHealth. So what were those problems that you were facing?
Yeah. So, I remember when you think about the challenge that the business faces in this industry is that functionally, you're taking some order that you receive from a referral source or referring provider. You're managing all the complexities around the payer requirements and regulatory requirements, and you're trying to efficiently dispense and bill for it. Insurance companies don't make it easy. Very challenging, right? Logistics can oftentimes be challenging, whether you're drop shipping or you have field teams out there. And so when you look at this as a whole, customers find themselves having to use fragmented processes, multiple different systems in order to piece it all together, right? And it can be something like inventory, or maybe some order management piece, or maybe they're using some third-party logistics piece. But they're trying to take all this stuff, put it all together in order to get the end result, which is deliver a product bill for it, and ultimately get reimbursed, right? And so along those ways, and I'm simplifying it by all intents purposes, but a lot of complexities within each one of those operational tasks. So if you take all of those things together and you can simplify them in the least amount of systems, the easiest processes, you get a better result, right? So you just think about something as simple as training new hires, right? I mean, companies have churn, right? Employees can come and go at times. Just training your new hires on convoluted or systems that aren't really user friendly can be extremely costly and challenging.
Like, touching on some of the points you mentioned, was the original vision to build a full DME operating system, or did it start with trying to solve one specific problem?
Yeah, it's a great question, Wayne. You know, I was a bit naive. You know, I kind of went into it saying, look, I really want to deliver an end-to-end solution. So it wasn't focused on just the front end order management piece. It wasn't focused just on the billing revenue cycle piece. It was more along the lines of how do you put it all together so it makes sense end to end.
Mike, why did you believe that the industry needed another option? Obviously, there are some options out there. People piecemeal different technologies, but why did you think that the industry was ready for another option?
Yeah, that's an easy one, Alex. So I can tell you from my own experience, I was trying to find a system that we like to use, like a system that was good, and it just didn't exist, right? So it forced us, in the past to basically, build some homegrown processes and systems and kind of leverage technology that did not support the scalability of our operation. And so when I ended up moving out of the traditional DME supplier business, I sat back and I said to myself, all right, the solution doesn't exist. We will build it.
Mike, this is kind of a question that I know the answer to because I was there alongside with you, but I think our listeners will find it extremely interesting. If kind of the early days, from your lens, what was the hardest kind of piece of this to explain to the market of why they need NicoHealth or why us as an alternative solution?
Yeah, I think that, when you think about technology at core, the industry traditionally has been somewhat adverse to adopting change, right? From a technology standpoint, not necessarily unique to the DME industry, but in general, when you have folks using the same system or have the same business processes for quite a long period of time, it's hard to adopt change. And so that alone was kind of the biggest challenge to work through as it relates to the brand, right? Like, I mean, wait, this firsthand. When we first introduced NikoHealth, it was like, oh, this looks great. It was obviously early on in the product evolution, but the conversations you'd have with folks were along the lines of, oh, wow, this looks great, but I've been using the same system for 15 years. And, yeah, I don't like it. And yeah, I have all of these issues, but I'm focused on my business and now it's not the right time to make the switch. That is a hurdle. It's a hurdle even today across customers, right? When we talk to potential opportunities, they're like, oh, I'm having this problem or I'm using 10 different processes and systems in order to accomplish a business task. But they are still somewhat apprehensive to this notion of changing systems, because changing systems comes with changing processes, comes with change management and all of the things that are involved with them. And I think that's really where our strengths prove to these customers that we support that onboarding implementation, support the change management and adoption of this. And yeah, it's a hurdle for customers sometimes to perceive at first glance, like, all right, cool, I got to switch systems. Yeah, it sounds like a big undertaking. The reality is the impact of staying on the systems they are and doing what they've done for an extended period of time I mean, Wayne, that's, that's an ROI that I think you carry conversations with every day.
Yeah, and I think like the hurdle hasn't changed. I think, and it's still hard, but we just got better over time, and the juice is now really worth the squeeze. To the lift is the same back then as it was today, but we're just better at it, and the light at the end of the tunnel is brighter than ever. So it's still the same problems, but we've just gotten a lot better over time.
Yeah, and I think just to clarify that, right? Like the better comment is yes, the software continues to evolve and get better, and we innovate across the product, and we really deliver a tremendous amount of value for our customers. The part that became clear is that customers on these existing solutions are ready. So I don't think we've gotten better. Yeah, we get better in everything we do every day, but I don't think that the better is the reason why we're continues to see success in this industry. I think it's because customers realize that there's the better solution out there.
Right
And,
on.
Absolutely.
and that's the statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What I did want to ask was, you obviously have an interesting perspective on how you're building out this technology and what products are going to go be built next or how they're going to be built. How did being kind of like a former operator shape the product differently?
So having business domain knowledge is critical. Like you need to understand the business of your customers, right? You can sit behind a computer screen and think you know what you need to build and how you need to build it and what you need to enable. The reality is you need the right folks that understand the business at core, that can solution for problems or solution for business cases for today and for the future. And so when we think about how we develop the product, it's not about, hey, let's add a checkbox here or a button there. It's more of like, all right, cool. This is the use case we're trying to solution for. How do we implement a feature that will allow us to scale, whether it's an automation or workflow? How do we scale it across the current task at hand and potentially what the future is?
Mike, going off of what you said and thinking about today and in the future, what are some of the biggest challenges facing DME providers today?
So I think that the challenges are kind of consistent, right, in this industry and relatively in healthcare in general, right? So you have reimbursement challenges, right? Whether it's reimbursement pressure or, really complex billing requirements. Those continue to evolve, right? So they never go away. They just change. Competitive bidding across some of these product categories is obviously a hot button topic. Suppliers impacted by potentially competitive bid not only reduces their ability to provide to those Medicare beneficiaries, but even if they get those bids, the pricing pressure is a upcoming challenge. Aside from that, efficient business processes, right? The number of technology solutions that continue to evolve across really pointed solutions, whether it's, some standalone AI applications or some standalone resupply application, or really kind of really pointed technologies. Those are solutions are continuing to kind of nip at some of the supplier base. And the challenge with that is that it just, again, inflates at times the number of systems that these customers are using, right? And so going back to what we spoke about in the past, it's like, okay, how do you deliver a best-in-class solution while allowing for extensibility and scalability for the product? You do that through enabling features that are truly best-in-class while allowing customers to leverage vendor of choice where appropriate. And, we've invested heavily into our API-first approach, supporting, external client applications or vendors in order to achieve that.
Mike, to your earlier point, you were kind of talking about competitive bid coming down the pipeline and, other challenges and changes happening in the near future. What role does technology play as providers are dealing with, tighter margins or staffing challenges, audits, payer complexity?
Yeah. So I mean, it's all about efficiencies, right? It's higher throughput without increasing your resources. That's what it comes down to, right? So if it's, you need to process more orders because you have a higher volume of orders coming through. Do you add more staff to process the orders? Do you implement the right, technology, and whether that's AI enabled capabilities or just through automation functionality? Like, it just depends, right? But like at the end of the day, it's efficiency achieved through higher throughput with minimal resources.
And Mike, if you were still running a DME today, where would you focus first?
Where would I focus? Well, I tell you what, if I was running a DME today, I'd be on NicoHealth, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The consolidation of systems and processes. So take a look holistically at what I'm doing and say, okay, how can I do it more efficiently within a single system of record, a single source of truth, because that is, in fact, where you get the greatest level of efficiency.
Mike, every day I'm assuming we're getting, new blood into the industry. Do you think that the next generation of DME leaders will tolerate the same systems that the industry has used for the last, 20 years?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, like I consider myself a fairly young guy, right? I want to use modern software, regardless of what I'm doing, right? I don't want to use dated applications where it's difficult for me to navigate or it's difficult for me to even, look at the user interface because I'm like, what is going on here? And I'm an average user, right? I think about myself. I'm a consumer, right? So if I'm, shopping online or using an internal system for some process, like I want it to be modern.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. And putting yourself in the kind of consumer's seat, what do you think customers should expect from a software partner today?
So I think a partnership's really important, right? That's the outlook that we've taken from day one. No solution's perfect, right? No system is going to do anything and everything that you may need it or want it to do. That's okay. And that really shouldn't be an expectation from customers. But having the right partnership, which allows the right solutions to be built based on feedback, right? So we work with our customers very closely. We continue to enhance the product. Our entire business is product driven. We continue to develop innovative features, innovative functionality. But where do we get, we're not sitting in the conference room drawing on a whiteboard saying, hey, this looks like a good idea. What we're doing is we're actively engaging with all of our customers, listening to feedback, thinking about, all right, cool, this is going to have a lot of impact for our customers and really going to streamline either some business process or innovate across functionality that didn't previously exist. And that partnership approach and partnership mentality, Wayne, as you know, that is the reason why we've continued to become successful, continue to build our customer base, and partner with the most innovative DME suppliers in the market today.
Couldn't agree more, Mike. Absolutely. I hear it every day. And, I think part of the culture here at NicoHealth is like we very much have conviction in the product. We have a strong team, and I think it comes across to our customers, but actually sitting down and listening to them to continue to drive the product is really at our core and is why good things are happening. And hopefully, I believe they'll continue to happen at an even faster rate.
You know what? The comment about the team is right. I mean, we really do like the energy, the passion in this industry from across, whether it's implementation or engineering or customer success teams. Like everybody's really excited, right? And they're excited to interact with customers. They're excited to solve problems for customers. They're excited to see these customers continue to scale and really benefit from the solutions that we offer. And that's motivating.
Yeah,
Totally. Yeah. I mean, when you're building a team, you know probably better than anyone, you got to have the right people on the bus, right? Got to have the right people on the bus first before you start driving it. That kind of leads me to my next question is like, what kind of company did you want NicoHealth to be from the beginning? You obviously had a great vision and it's coming to fruition, but what kind of company were you looking to build?
So what I wanted to do was build a team and culture that was excited about what we're doing, right? So obviously DME is a very focused space that we're in. And while, many folks in our team come from the DME business background, right? Having previously worked in DME businesses across various functional roles and leadership roles. It was good to bring some people that didn't. Because when you think about the solutions that we're building, the problems we're solving, right? Yes, they're specific to maybe a particular DME related workflow. But when you take a step back, you're like, there's a lot of great applications in the world that do a lot of great things. We wanted to build a team that had that kind of skill set, had that type of conviction in order to be able to deliver those type of features and functionality into NicoHealth.
Totally. And the kind of leads me to my next thing here. Talk about building the team, getting the right people on the bus, getting the right people in the room. We don't really talk about you too much, Wayne. I thought this would be a perfect time to bring you up here. We're always doing this together. We never really speak about each other on the podcast. We always talk about the guests. But I guess, Mike, what'd you see in Wayne that made you think, this guy could help build the sales team. He can help build the product. He's like the go-to guy. Everyone knows his face. So what'd you see in Wayne when you first brought him on?
Yeah, it's a great question. I'm still trying to figure that one out.
No, you had that vision in the product. And
There's a lot of vision. There was a lot of vision there for sure. Yeah, it was but tons of vision. Wayne previously was in a health tech related kind of organization, not in the DME space, although he kind of touched in DME at some point in his life. And so Wayne had a lot of really good attributes. First and foremost, he was motivated. So like he wanted to succeed. He was genuinely curious about not only what we were doing, but fundamentally like the customers we were serving, the industry we were working in, like all those things actually excited him, right? So like his level of initial interest, right, was exciting, right? It was like he was ready to build. And this was early on, right? This was before the product was even launched. So he was excited to kind of go along that journey and really participate in an early stage venture that we were at that time. And fast forward, I think it worked out for him.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, like day one was just a laptop. Like there was really a laptop and a minimally viable product. So it was... One, I just liked Mike, honestly. I thought he just sold his company and, he showed me the vision of NicoHealth. And I was like, if you can sell something, you can sell anything. But it was a pretty steep learning curve. So it was a lot of no's in the beginning. And some people saying we were crazy. But there was general interest for a new product, even if it wasn't our time initially. There was, even back then, there was demand for someone to do this. But like Mike said, it maybe took a little longer than we thought, but I remember the first time I posted on LinkedIn about an alternative solution, we started getting inquiries, even if we didn't do everything that we needed them to do back then. But there was demand, and I think that was very motivating to see, even though, it took a bit of time pushing the rock up the hill, but we're making it happen.
Yeah. Tell me about those early days. I mean, obviously anyone who's gone to MedTrade this past year saw what we did. We had a huge like French chalet with, mimosa bar. It's not how it was in the beginning, right?
No, it was
It was Wayne building. What was it? It was
building the booth. And can you flash a picture like Joe Rogan up the caveman booth? We definitely should.
Yeah, there you go.
It was,
I would on my hands and knees with the screwdriver building the booth. But I don't know. I think if anyone's gonna like be the first salesperson of the company, you have to like believe in the product, or, if you believe in the product, when someone says no, like You're like, all right, no, it's just not right now, or maybe that person's crazy, even if you're the crazy one. So if you believe in the product and the vision, it's easy to keep going, even when people are not adopting it as quickly as you want. But yeah, I mean, part of it was also like getting out there. It's a big industry, but it's also very tightly knit. So to kind of uproot legacy and incumbent players that have been around for decades, and you've been around for 1 to 2 years is no easy feat if you don't have allies and people that are aligned with your mission. So I went to a tremendous amount of DME conferences every single month for years on end, just meeting people in our network. And, it actually honestly makes a big difference. I still get referrals all the time. If somebody hears a need, I was like, I want them to think of me when the time comes. So just boots on the ground was really part of the approach as well. And it still is very, very much, I think some of the best success we had was from doing things in person, meeting people, and just spending the time getting out there.
Yeah, and reputation,
Shaking
right?
hands.
I mean, like, that's ultimately what it comes down to. I think that from a company perspective, having the best reputation possible is super important for us. Having folks like Wayne that carry a good reputation forward is mission critical for us. So building the brand, building the reputation, right? That doesn't happen overnight, but we've done a great job to date, and we're going to continue to move forward even more aggressive.
That's right. That's right. What are you most proud of with the product so far? Obviously, it's come a long way.
I love it. I love it. And I'm being a little biased clearly here, right? But when I sit back and I think about, some of the customer testimonials that we hear, some of the conversations that I have with customers, just thinking about some of this positive feedback that we get, it's like, cool. We built something that the customers are leveraging, that is helping them run their business more efficiently, helping service their patients better. That's a lot. Right. So that's a lot. That's what motivates me. That's what I love. Right. Like, I mean, I geek it out as far as like some of the, nitty gritty features and functionality. As you know, I'm heavily involved on the product side still. So I love that part of my job. I think it's, actually, I wouldn't even call it a job. It's my life. Right. Like, I love what we're doing here. It's, just like anything else, the good days and bad days and in between. But we are building something amazing here together. And, everybody in our team contributes day in and day out for that same mission.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. And, we've been at this for a bit now. What would you say entrepreneurship has taught you about patience?
You need a lot of it. You need a lot of it, right? Because you get so much noise. There's so much noise coming in so many different directions at times, right? So what's really important is to focus on the tasks that are important, right? Weed out the noise and continue to push forward. If, to one of your previous questions before, Wayne, about like early days, you remember how much noise we got?
Yeah.
But it was insane. It was like, oh, this is, crazy. You guys are trying to build a product that has all this functionality and all these things and getting different types of, stakeholders who will express interest in various levels and kind of try to pull you in different directions. Like, you got to stay focused, keep the drive going, like get rid of the noise, focus on the task, and the end result will come, right? And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing some awesome stuff happening with our customers, some awesome growth for our business, and a great team.
Yeah, and it takes a good leader too, and someone who's actually going to put the time in. A lot of CEOs, not everyone at CEO level or founder level is really as involved at sometimes. And someone like you, I mean, you could be responding to emails that I'm seeing responses at 10 p.m., 4 a.m. Like, Mike, you're always on. There's not an off button with this guy, which is really cool to see. That you're so involved and helping pushing the product forward. So, with all that being said, what kind of keeps you motivated when building gets difficult?
Look, scaling any business, right? There's always ups and downs and challenges along the way. like I said earlier, you know, the motivation really comes from seeing the continuous success that we're having, right? The continuous success that our customers experience. And like when you bridge those two things together, it's like our customers are doing well, we're doing well, the industry's doing well, and ultimately, you know, as I mentioned before, there's a patient at the end of that, right? So the patients are getting what they need and hopefully better care.
Mike, as you know, we have a lot of listeners in the DME space, from vendors to DME providers to other technology companies. What do you think founders often misunderstand about building in the healthcare space?
And again, I don't necessarily know if it's just limited to the healthcare space or specifically, you know, even the complexities around the DME industry. I think where there's often a misconception is if you build something, they will come, right?
Yeah.
I think that is fundamentally incorrect. And so, look, you know, when I go back and I think about when we were starting NicoHealth, yeah, and that was probably a part of my thought process as well. It was, I'm sure, right? Hey, build a better solution, they will come. The answer is that it doesn't come easy, right? And so, you know, whether it's, you know, the brand, whether it's the reputation, whether it's the industry connections, whether it's the sales motion, whether it is the product itself, right? All of those stars need to align in order to scale. And that's hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, it's almost like a time in versus timing thing, where they say you can't really time the market. But yeah, it's kind of all those things have to come together. If any of them don't, it's very difficult.
Mike, was there ever a point where you kind of questioned whether the market was ready or not?
You know, I think the initial kind of first couple of years wasn't a matter of question, but it was clear to me that the market wasn't entirely ready for new technology. I feel like that has drastically shifted fast forward to today, where there's a tremendous amount of demand, right, for new software solutions and technology as a whole. But there's no doubt about it that on the onset, there was that absolute sentiment. It didn't deter me. If anything, I said, all right, cool. We're going to continue to press forward. We're going to continue to build. And that's what we do day in and day out. But it did exist. It was a real barrier for us.
Mike, before we start wrapping things up, when you look at the next 5 years, 5 to 10 years in our space, what do you think will define the next era of DME?
So, look, we live in an age where automation and AI is at the forefront, right? There will be an increasing adoption for AI-enabled capabilities. There will be an increasing adoption for technology solutions, right? The end users of the platform, the demographics obviously continue to shift, right? So our customers are continuing to shift. The business leaders are continuing to demand more from their current tech stacks. We will see all of those things continue to move in that direction, which translates into exactly what we're doing. Building a better solution, continuously to innovate it, introducing automation and AI-enabled functionality. All of the things that we're working so hard on today, when you fast forward, and probably not even 5 years, when you fast forward a year, 2 years down the road, all of these things are going to be table stakes for any software.
Great answer.
Absolutely.
Mike, before we move on to rapids, I got one more question that I think that the listeners want to know, especially, you know, DME providers. If you could give any DME provider just one piece of advice about modernizing their business, what would it be?
Don't be afraid of change. That's the bottom line. Like you can't expect, you know, a business to continue to operate the same way it did 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 15 years ago. Like you need to be willing to embrace change, and whatever that change means, right? Whether it's software, business processes, whatever it calls for. Don't be afraid of change. Adopt it, embrace it, let it be an opportunity to revisit how to run the business different, for better or worse.
Yeah, nothing changes if nothing changes.
Right?
Love it. That's it. There you go. All right, Mike, I think we're ready to move on to our final segment of the show. It's called the rapid fire. It's kind of a this or that funny part. So let's jump right into it. Let's go. Coffee or energy drink?
Definitely energy drink.
Early morning or late night?
A combination of both.
Text or call?
Text.
Best place to think? Office, car, shower, airplane?
We're going to do office.
One app that you use way too much?
NicoHealth.
What's harder, building software or running a DME?
They're both businesses. They're both hard in their respective nature, my friend.
Love it. Perfect. Mike, thanks so much for joining the show. This has been an awesome 50th episode. We really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're a busy man. If anyone wants to find out more about NicoHealth or more about yourself, what's the best place for someone to find you?
You know what? Anybody can reach me at any point in time they want. Shoot me a note on LinkedIn. More than happy to connect.
And if you want a demo, NicoHealth.com.
That's
Your
right.
shameless plug, right? First time we got to do that.
Keep crushing these podcasts. Love to see more and more guests come on. So appreciate you guys having me.
Thanks, Mike. I think everyone will love this episode. Appreciate it, man.
Later.